Hello, I'm Mark Northam, the Secretary of the New South Wales ACT Independent Education Union, bringing you an update of where our campaign is currently sitting, and I thank you for your engagement to date with the campaign. The campaign's got two core threads in it. One is fair pay, and by that I mean that the pay structures for teachers and support staff have to be enhanced. In addition to the pay issue, we've got additional structured time release. What we're not seeking, and what has been put on the table in the negotiations and has been rejected, is the notion of an additional pupil-free day for 2022, and in some ways that teachers would be able to use that day to assist with teacher preparation stuff. If it's principal or system directed, that is not the case. So the other dimension that's happening tomorrow is that there's an electronic ballot opening, and we really encourage you to engage with the voting process. We're aware that you've received an email from a company called CIVS, CIVS, and CIVS is running the electronic ballot right across New South Wales and the ACT, approaching 17,000 IEU members. It's an enormous undertaking, and it's a complex process, but it's a process that's determined by the Fair Work Act. It is arduous and it is complex. So I thank you for your time taken, and especially encouraging each other to vote. In your school there will be some stickers indicating that you've voted, that you've supported the campaign. It's important that the distinction under the Fair Work Act, you are not at this stage voting to take stop work, it's voting to set up, put everything in place for you to make that decision. The next step is post the ballot process. Our executive, teachers and support staff from across New South Wales and the ACT will be convened, they will meet, and they would be determining the next steps. So the balloting process that you're engaging in is to determine that you've got the right to have no penalties imposed upon you, to take industrial action, to support enhanced salaries, and also to increase the amount of teacher preparation time available for both primary and secondary teachers. It's obvious. We all know about the cost of living spiralling without listing them through. The cost of living is increasing, and we know that inflation is running at in excess of 5%. The current 2.04% pay offer has to be rejected, and it's inappropriate, and it's time to reset teacher salaries and reset support staff salaries in Catholic systemic schools. In terms of support staff, our endeavours, the union's endeavours across the negotiating table to improve long service leave have been rejected, and matching government school pay rates remains a long way off. And it's important to remember that the Public Service Association negotiated these increases in government schools in 2019. As I've mentioned previously, we know the cost of living is increasing, we know inflation's heading up. We also know that the number of students engaging in teacher education has plummeted by some 30%. What we're not getting happening in our schools is students approaching teachers talking about teaching as a career. The impact of teacher shortages also has to be driven home, and I'm absolutely certain that the school communities that you serve are well and truly aware of the teacher shortages. The impact of teachers standing between doors and monitoring more than one class, observing classes in the yard, having 3, 4 or 5 classes in the library. Yes, COVID has exacerbated teacher shortage, but the reality is it was well and truly emerging prior to COVID, and certainly been exacerbated, and now it is a really complex measure to staff schools on a daily basis. We need to pause, we need to think about fixing up teacher and support staff salaries, enhancing the time release so that you can do the job that is teaching, especially keeping in mind that schools are about teaching and learning, and we need especially to work on teacher shortages. And one of the key ingredients for that is attracting people into the profession and retaining them, and we simply can't do that with the current salary structure. The New South Wales government needs to lift the 2.5% salary cap. It doesn't really, in a legal sense, apply to IEU members across New South Wales and the ACT, but we get caught by it. So we need employers to make representations on our behalf. We need to take our campaign to the next level, and by engaging in the voting process, commencing tomorrow morning, Wednesday, we'll be sending a text reminder out, is the surefire way to get the attention of our employers, get the attention of government and our school communities that schools are in a crisis, and we need assistance to reset basic working conditions and move forward. Thank you very much for your time. Please support each other with the electronic ballot and look out for that CIVS email, CIVS, because that is your right to vote. Then we can move down the decision track as to what that action might look like. Thank you very much for your support. It's been a long campaign and we're on the precipice of change. Please stay with us and keep an eye on our social media and our website for updates as we move forward. Thank you.